and welcome to another episode of Soft Factor. It is Tuesday,
September
3rd.
Hold on. What are you? What?
Soft Factor, Tuesday, September 3rd.
You didn't run that one.
That was a surprise.
Well, it's Soft Factor today because on our first week of the weight loss contest, 3 out of 4 people quit. So
I didn't quit. I just didn't weigh in yet.
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't do good.
Soft Factor today.
We don't lose weight on your time, Will.
Well, we announced to the audience that we would start it again.
You can't work out on a toothache.
And we got a whole lot of tweets asking about our progress, you
Well,
psychopath.
anyways, 3 out of 4 quit. Soft
looks like he
Factor,
got
Tuesday, September 3rd.
Shot in the face with a BB gun.
Hopefully, everybody out there had fun during the worst Labor Day weekend of all time. Let's get into the stories. Real bad one today. So first up, Wes is going to tell us about Hurricane Dorian and the destruction it brought to the Bahamas.
Yeah, Hurricane Dorian is a motherfucker. We got to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it, but we got to let you know what's going on.
Yeah, it's got pretty bad. Got pretty real out there. All right, and then Mark, Pat, and I will take us through a news buffet of other headlines. Take it away, Wes.
Well, first of all, to set the stage, the news buffet doesn't start off any lighter.
Oh,
not
no.
driving.
No. More bad stories in there.
Yeah.
But we're going to get through it together, guys.
If you're sad, don't listen to them.
Yeah. Unless you win the lottery, don't listen. Yeah. All right, guys, the motherfucker that is Hurricane Dorian, named after the devil's least favorite and not talked about son, is absolutely destroying everything in its path.
You like that joke?
Yeah.
It's a throwback.
Yeah, as it moves slowly across the Caribbean and towards mainland United States. At one point, it had wind gusts of 220 miles per hour, which tied it for the strongest ever Atlantic hurricane to make landfall, basically an F5 tornado for our listeners in tornado country.
Fucking
Put that
tornado
in perspective.
came?
Yeah.
220 miles per hour is way too fast.
Jesus Christ.
Way too fast. So
Yeah, I think what is Category 5? It's like 160 to be Category 5, right? So
Yeah, I thought it was like
165.
above 170 or something like that.
right,
we
so
can
it's
just-
like 50 miles an hour over the threshold.
Right.
Yeah.
They just don't have a category higher.
Yeah.
The only positive thing is it's not radioactive. Other than that.
yeah.
You're making a nuke joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's slammed into
Well,
the
but if
Bahamas.
they had nuked it, maybe it wouldn't be going so fast.
We'll never know.
We will never know.
Thank God.
Or throwing ice into the water, like that one guy suggested. So it slammed into the Bahamas over Labor Day weekend, and reports coming from those islands is that it has absolutely destroyed them with historical damage. So Bahamas Prime Minister Hubert Minnis addressed the press yesterday, saying that his country is in, quote, in the midst of a historical tragedy. So far, 5 people have been reported dead from the hardest hit Abaco Islands, which are east of the Grand Bahamas. But reports coming from other parts of the islands include dead bodies floating in the floodwaters, power lines in the water, people trapped in trees and on rooftops, and buildings just not existing anymore. So we really will not know the full effects and casualties until the sky's clear. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, the eye of the storm was over, Grand Bahama?
Yeah, today,
For
yesterday.
Like a
12
full
hours.
day, yeah.
Yeah, it's
The rain's not going to stop while you're listening to it. This rain's still hitting Bahamas.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, is there any places on the islands at all west that aren't flooded? Or is
no. I think everything is just part of the ocean at this
The
point.
western Bahama Islands were absolutely annihilated.
Yeah. So recovery efforts are underway with people being rescued where they can be. However, Minister of State Kwasi Thompson told radio, local people that are calling the radio for help, that they are being received, but until the storm fully clears, quote, we simply cannot get to you. So just hang tight and hopefully,
That sounds like what we heard during Katrina.
Exactly.
Yeah. Isn't he the same guy that tweeted out the video of his house, like the nice house?
No, that was a different guy. But
One of the state officials tweeted out a video from his house. He has like a very nice modern home that he says is 25 feet above sea level, and he's just calmly videoing as water smacking into every single window in his house.
Yeah, that's a crazy video. I mean, they're trapped in the attic. Yeah, that's a crazy one.
Yeah, it was nuts. So as of this recording, Dorian was still pounding the northern Bahamas with a storm surge of 18 to 23 feet expected in some parts. So just everything underwater. I was going to make a shitty paper towel joke here, but you know what? This is literally no joking matter. People's lives are being lost, destroyed, just horrible shit. So we will be posting a link into the blog as to how you may help the people of the Bahamas. Even if it's just a fucking $1, it will go a long way to help those people. So just do it. It's $1.
Yeah, especially those people depend on a lot of our tourism dollars. And, man, Jesus.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, bad.
This
And
is
there's going to
definitely
be a
tissue
city in
story,
the
not
U.S.
toilet
that
paper.
gets hit, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I
So
mean-
we're
Not paper towel. Yeah. I mean, if you were going to donate any money to anything
right now, yeah.
do it for this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and luckily, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's going to be horrible either way. Luckily, hopefully a city in the U.S. will be more prepared than the Bahamas probably are. just being.
Well, they could. There was nothing they could do, right? I mean, like that hurricane came directly over them, smacked them. I mean, it was you can't. It's like when Puerto Rico with Maria. Like just epic proportions. Nothing can be done. You're in the direct path of an extremely strong storm.
Yeah, can't evacuate.
You can't. Yeah, there's nowhere to go. There aren't enough helicopters. There aren't enough boats. You just kind of have to hunker down and hope for the best. And it was not the best in the Bahamas.
Right.
No. All right. So where is this bastard going next? Well, as of this recording, Dorian has weakened to a Category 4 with sustained winds of 140 miles or 145 miles per hour, which is still like bye-bye roof wind speeds. And the spaghetti models, which look like they told some kids to guess where the hurricane will go next by drawing like a squiggly line, is predicting the dangerous eye of the storm is going to miss Florida altogether, even though parts of southern Florida are already experiencing heavy rains from the outskirts of the storm and winds up to 40 miles per hour. So, I mean, still, it's a lot of rains and flooding to be expected. So some good news there, it seems. However, every city and town along the East Coast, from West Palm Beach to Charleston, South Carolina, is under a hurricane watch or warning, so we are not in the clear yet as far as a mainland eye landing goes. Mandatory evacuations have already started for South Carolina residents in the Low Country, and I'm no expert on hurricanes like Will or Pat are from their time in Louisiana, but I think an eye landing in the Low Country and Charleston would create some pretty bad flooding there.
I mean, dude, anywhere a hurricane hits sucks, and it tends to hit pretty cool places to live. So it's a bit of a trade off when you live in those areas, and it's always terrible no matter where it hits.
Yeah. So hopefully the spaghetti models are wrong, and this thing keeps weakening and drifts out into the Atlantic. And the only bad thing that happens is some 11-year-old's bid to be the youngest person to sail around the globe is put on hold for another year.
That really chaps Wes's ass whenever an 11-year-old gets a hair up his ass to travel around the globe.
Oh, Wes hates it.
Pisses
Wes
me off.
hates it. Why do you hate
you're
it
too
so
young.
much?
You're too young to sail, you little prick.
Because they should be in school.
Go back to school.
Because they're not really doing it. That's what you're right. It's their dad.
Right.
Well, yeah, they obviously have someone with them.
There could be a hurricane. Go back to class.
Yeah, so we'll keep you posted on this. Go onto the internet, and as I'm sure you guessed, most of the internet comments were thoughts and prayers and all this stuff.
I would fucking hope so.
Yeah, but Mark DiLorenzo decided to hate on our president, saying Trump's so worried about the approaching hurricane that he spent night and day making sure all federal and state agencies are working together and is constantly in meetings planning for disaster response. I'm just kidding. He's golfing right now because he's useless.
That's where the attention needs to be brought to his golfing trip, not the millions affected in the Bahamas doing that.
You should have stayed in the Paris Climate Accord. I'm just saying. Just saying that.
So you think that pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord causes hurricanes?
No, not at all. I'm not an idiot.
The world was mad.
No, I'm
just
saying we got to do something about fucking climate change. We got to do something. These hurricanes are coming out of nowhere.
But I mean, hurricanes have been coming forever. I mean, forever and ever.
They've been around for a while.
That's true, but I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We should ask someone older than us. But I feel like these are some of the worst storms we've seen in American history in the last.
Can't blame
15
Trump.
years.
Look for
not blaming Trump.
Look for Pat's spinoff podcast, High Horse, coming soon.
It drops next week. Subscribe now.
All right, move us over to Predict It, Mark.
Okay, guys, let's take it to the best part of the news, and that's betting on it. So I don't know how many of the listeners have been following my tip on Predict It to bet on the highest band of @RealDonaldTrump or @POTUS Weekly tweets, but it's an evergreen tip, meaning get the fuck on it every week. First step.
Winners.
Log into the completely legal to residents in all 50 United States, www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20. Create an account in 3 minutes or less and deposit into that account to get a free $20 first-time depositor bonus.
Hold on, you say this shit's legal, right?
Yes, you don't have to do Bitcoin. You can use your Chase card, your Amex, anything. Debit card doesn't matter.
Don't use your Amex, though.
Second step, search for @RealDonaldTrump or @POTUS in the markets and find the how many times will those Twitter accounts tweet between a date and then 7 days from that date, noon to noon time. The third step is buy a lot of shares in the highest option of those markets. Last step, sit back and check every few hours and then make a shitload of money. You can sell when you've at least doubled your money because they don't hit 100% of the times, but they do always start so low, the highest markets, and at some point they get very,
so you're basically
very high.
you're basically saying hammer the over. Are they adjusting the lines at all? You just still hitting
Not
this?
yet. I mean, I'm giving you the tips. They might have to because I'm giving you the tips, but hammer the over early when it's 20 cents for the over. At some point, it's going to hit 80 cents. I guarantee it. Or it's just going to win. So you can either sell for quadruple your money or you can ride it out, and most weeks it'll just win at the highest band. Nice. Trust me, I've won 3 weeks in a row on both those markets. everyone listening, you should really want to get in on this with us at predicted.org/promo/hardfactor20. Make some money with us.
And then donate half of that to the Bahamas.
And also,
Definitely donate some money to the
I got to
Bahamas.
make a public apology to everyone that was following my picks last week. I got a little overzealous with how many Democratic dropouts there would be. And
Just
I
a tad.
might have lost
Just by about double.
Right, but just by double. But the great thing about Predicted is when the ship was going down, I was able to sell my shares and mitigate my loss, which was great.
Well, fade the at-high horse, Pat Cassidy, on his predicted
It's the
bets.
fucking idiot. Why are you still in the race? If you're not in the debate, why are you in the race, Tim Ryan? Who is Michael
But
Bennett?
I would recommend you definitely deposit this week so you're ready to bet with us for the
Who are
debates
you?
next week because there's going to be a lot of awesome markets.
Oh, yeah,
Where
debate.
10 people are, and there's fucking 10 people sitting home. Jesus Christ.
All right, news
All right,
buffet
guys.
time.
Yeah, let's get on the news buffet. There's a saying when it comes to mass shootings. It's something like the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. I think we can officially put that theory to bed as Texas unfortunately saw its second mass shooting in less than 30 days over the weekend.
Whoa, that's a hot take.
Yeah.
Well,
there's the
but-
high horse.
But still, the saying. I mean, even though
It's okay. I'm on a horse today.
even
It's an
though
armed-ass state.
but even though that saying is like you may think it's not accurate, there are, I mean, the bad guys did get shot down by good guys with guns in this case
Right.
this weekend
saying-
and also in previous Texas shootings.
Look, the saying applies sometimes. The saying, but my point is, it's a dumb saying because we need to do something different.
Pat's like, I would have survived in the Bahamas because my horse has 20-foot tall legs.
Yeah, I especially bred it. I got it from a breeder.
yeah,
you don't
something
know
has to
about.
be done. Yeah, Pat. I mean, mass shootings
Fair
are going off at a crazy rate.
My point is, let's change the fucking rhetoric of what we're doing. Not hey, whatever. Anyway, look,
Good point.
look. Yet again, a complete and total loser senselessly took the lives of people that were better than him. He could have taken the life of a cockroach, and that sentiment would have been the same.
I agree.
Police said that the 36-year-old disappointment of his son, quote, was on a long spiral of going down. He didn't wake up Saturday morning, that's when he committed these atrocities, and go into his company, and then it happened. He went to that company in trouble and probably had been in trouble for a while.
Yeah, they tried to interview one of his friends, but he didn't have any.
Yeah, hard pressed. They just heard crickets.
Oh, he got fired.
He got fired. Yes.
We haven't got to that yet, but yes. he got
Somehow,
fired.
this failure of a man was able to acquire an assault rifle, even though he had a 2001 offense on his record that should have precluded him from doing so. But he got one anyway, and he showed up to work on Saturday at his trucking job, and he was fired for being a weirdo virgin putz, amongst other things, I'm sure. He then
How do you get fired from a trucking job?
Oh, my God.
You got to be bad at trucking, I think.
DUI or potential
Not
mass
showing
shooter,
up
that's about
for
it.
work.
I mean, isn't that on you? Like, shouldn't you just not shoot everyone but admit that you didn't, like, truck enough?
You know there was a manager there or an assistant manager who was like, no, Jerry, you were right. We shouldn't have hired this fucking weirdo.
Everyone's, like, on meth and working 18-hour shifts, and he's, like, skipping days, and he's surprised he got fired.
He didn't take enough meth.
Yeah, when you're getting fired, look, and I love truckers, but Jesus Christ, anyway.
Just drive.
He then left the office, called 911, and then the FBI tip line randomly, and he rambled for a while before he was pulled over by police officers on an unrelated matter, and that's when this failure of carbon started a shooting spree from Midland, Texas to Odessa, Texas, randomly just shooting people.
Good Lord.
He took the
Piece of
lives
shit.
of 7 and wounded at least 22. Among the dead are Mary Granados, a 29-year-old postal worker who was killed while on her route as this motherfucker hijacked her truck.
She was a postal worker.
She was a postal worker. 40-year-old Joseph Griffin, who was shot and killed at a traffic light in his car with his wife and 2 children in the car. Rudolph Rudy Acro, who left Las Vegas after their shooting for Odessa because he thought it would be, quote, safer. A 15-year-old high school student named Leila Hernandez, and Cameron Brown, who's an Afghanistan combat veteran who came home to be killed. That's just to name a few. Among the wounded was a 17-month-old baby who was struck in the face with shrapnel, in addition to the one of the state troopers who pulled the gentleman over.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, well, piece of
That
shit.
was tough. That was tough, Pat.
piece of shit.
It's horrible, man.
That was a tough paragraph.
Well, we owe it to them to say their names.
Absolutely.
Yeah. God's practical joke was eventually killed by police in a movie theater parking lot, thank God. Now that we've begun the mourning process for this mass shooting, which is the 38th this year at least, we can just wish and pray really, really hard until the next one happens. And if we do nothing and stay real quiet, maybe we'll be able to hear this one coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy how President Trump immediately went on the defensive against any sort of gun legislation. I mean, the Republicans basically immediately went with the NRA talking points. the story hadn't even been been reporting yet, and they're already going to that. And it's just so crazy because, like, I looked it up. In 2017, there were 1,000 military deaths. Compare that with 15,000 homicides by gun in the United States. So basically, like, while military deaths are declining since 2010, gun deaths, suicide, and homicide on the rise in America. So.
Yeah, I saw a guy. I was in Walmart today, and I saw a guy wearing an NRA shirt, just like parading around, and I was just like, "Look, come on, man,
Yeah,
come on, dude."
Look, no one's look. I don't want to take anyone's fucking guns.
You own a gun, Pat? Will owns several guns.
Yeah, I love shooting. I'm a big time avid shooter. We got a problem.
Time out.
You like shooting targets.
We're pro Second Amendment, clearly, right? And we also advertise for a holster company, which we're happy to do. And they have good products, but this is not related to taking away all guns. We're just trying to talk about
assault rifles.
There's a problem in our
rifles,
government.
Maybe,
Look,
and just like society.
Here's the problem in our
Something's
government.
got to be done.
There is big business in our government, and that big business is the NRA, unfortunately. And look, business and government needs to get the fuck out of it.
The NRA is just an extremely powerful lobbying group, and they probably have way too much power given the fact that nobody can get gun legislation passed.
But someone's got to fucking do something.
So I mean, there has to be something that changes, whether it's gun legislation or whether it's mental health legislation. They need to do something. They can't just keep doing nothing because it's a real fucking epidemic. People are scared to go outside.
Why would you be scared to have like it be much harder for you to get an assault rifle or any kind of gun if you knew that might prevent a mass shooting?
Because Wes,
you're still gonna get your gun.
Because Wes, it's like betting on the highest band of the Trump tweets. They're printing money. Come on,
you're still gonna get your fucking gun. It might be a little harder for you.
Sorry.
We gotta move on. All right, let's go to over to China. Okay, Hong Kong protests. They also escalated over this insane Labor Day weekend. The Hong Kong protest is basically boiled over completely at this point. Something significant probably on the way from the mainland Chinese government and President Xi. Over the weekend, all kinds of videos came out of the police beating protesters defacing public property. It's so bad that Reuters obtained audio of the CEO of Hong Kong from the Chinese government, Carrie Lam. She was telling business people that if she had her choice, she'd quit and offer a deep apology. So she just wants to be done with it. She feels so terrible about the protest.
Pat, was that a preemptive whoa?
I just never knew that.
They got audio of the CEO of Hong Kong?
I thought she was the president of Hong Kong. I didn't know they referred to their fucking leader as the CEO.
I did the same thing, Pat. I didn't know it was chief CEO.
Pat, we've only mentioned it 15 times.
No one's ever said that.
Yes.
Sorry,
I have 3 times.
Sorry, the country's not running so good. Our CEO is.
Pat, where have you been the past month and a half?
Anyhow, yes,
you know I have
still
attention
the
deficit disorder.
Jesus.
She's still the CEO of Hong Kong, and she says that she wishes she could quit and apologize to everybody, but she can't because it's been escalated to a, quote, national level, meaning that President Xi may be about to lower the boom on Hong Kong, the protesters, or maybe he's going to work something out without military action. We're going to have to see how far China is willing to go to stamp out the Hong Kong protests. If they start sending troops over, you know that they're willing to go pretty far.
I think they're going to go pretty far. Well, like we referenced last time, or one of the last times we talked about the story and mentioned the CEO, we also said
president.
Yeah, that they were going to roll out the water cannons if the protest started. And guess what they did this weekend? They rolled out the water cannons and started water cannoning the protesters. And they added a trick to it where they made the water blue so that it would like stain the people's clothes and skin.
They added a trick to it.
Well, no, this trick. Here's the trick. Once they were knocked onto their asses by the water cannon, the police knew who to beat because the protesters
in the
were
subways
covered in blue.
On the way home.
They were dyed in blue.
It's
like the dye packet to like a bank robber, except it's a protester being stained.
It's a target. And I was about to say they had some pretty tricky batons too, because there's lots of videos of the police just beating the shit out of people with batons.
And all you assholes that piss in the pool.
Yeah, that's a myth, though.
It's
true.
I
do that all the time. I piss in every pool I go to.
It will turn blue.
Keeping with the theme.
Quit pissing in the pool.
Keeping with the theme here, I have another heartbreaking story. What can I say? Lots of shitty stuff has been going on since last we talked. So a boat caught fire off the coast of California on Monday morning, and it is not good news. The 75-foot diving vessel, the Conception, sent a distress call around 3 a.m. Monday morning, which is Labor Day, yesterday, saying the boat was on fire, and the person on the call was heard barely saying he couldn't breathe. The Coast Guard reacted quickly and sent several assets to the boat's location at the Santa Cruz Island it was docked at. But again, the news is disastrous. A Good Samaritan boat, the Grape Escape, was able to save 5 members on board who were all crew members that were able to jump off the boat. And at the time of this recording, 8 people are reported dead with 26 still missing, and it is not a good outlook for those 26 people. The FBI is investigating the cause of the fire, and the distraught crew members were interviewed, and they said that basically everyone on board besides them was asleep below deck when the ship
At 3 a.m.
Yeah, and the ship is sunk, and they found some of the
Why were
bodies
they
at the bottom of
diving
the
at 3
ocean.
a.m.?
Well, they were going to
they were-
dive.
No, they were, like,
dive
sleeping
the next
out
morning.
there,
They were
yeah.
going to dive the next morning.
God.
Truth Aquatics, the company that owns the Conception, is well respected in the diving community. They own and operate several commercial diving boats, and the owner, Glenn Fritzler, won the California Scuba Service Award earlier this year for his work in the industry. According to Diving News, the Conception was the state of California's crown jewel of live aboard dive boats, so like the best boat
It was liveaboard,
to get
yeah,
on,
yeah.
and is where the owner, Glenn, met the love of his life, Dana. So fuck me and fuck you and fuck all of us. I'm sorry to report that story. Let's try to move on to some lighter subject matter.
All right, guys, I got something here which is going to bring us all back together. It's someone we can hate universally in a fun way.
Thank God.
So a 27-year-old man in Singapore was arrested in Singapore's Changi airport for the, quote, misuse of a boarding pass after he purchased an airline ticket for the sole purpose of walking his wife to the gate so he could see her off and wave goodbye.
See, I thought he was like sticking it through his shorts, like make it look like a dick.
No.
Check out my boarding pass.
No.
Sounded like he wanted to
Misuse.
make sure she was gone.
Yeah,
really?
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I
This-
agree with you, Wes.
This asshole just had to wave to her as she took off on the big plane, didn't he? What the fuck is this guy doing? Is he trying to make us all look bad? In one afternoon, this asshole undid 25 years of precedent, absolutely killing the, I'm sorry, honey, you know I want to walk you to the gate, but I can't because I don't have a ticket excuse.
Look, if you're with someone that demands or expects you
That
to
you park?
to spend no, not park.
Yeah,
to spend
buy the
an
ticket.
entire flight just to wave to her goodbye. She's probably not the one.
First of
Isn't
all,
just
it
saying
didn't
goodbye at the curb good enough at these?
You think so?
absolutely,
Wes?
and it didn't break the precedent for poor guys because most people can't
Yeah.
even afford to do this.
But you know what it did fuck up, Will? It fucked up grabbing your girl from the airport via a drive-by in the passenger pickup area.
That's
You
what you're
can you
talking
can
about.
forget about that.
Yeah.
Because after this asshole's actions, you're gonna have to pay the $10 for 20 minutes of parking. You're gonna have to meet her in the fucking terminal.
You're gonna have to get a pilot's license and fly her places.
I bet this motherfucker knew.
That's the next
I
step.
bet he knew he was going to get arrested. I bet he planned this garbage in an attempt to lock down daily blowjobs or something.
No.
Yeah, no.
I'm with Wes.
He wanted her gone.
I think that he wanted to see her hit the air.
Yeah.
So
He
could
needed
go
visual evidence.
Have a fun weekend with his mistress.
That's right.
He wanted to make sure he wanted visual confirmation.
Yeah, he wanted to see that plane take off.
He's like, that plane looks like it's gonna have no problems. She's gone.
I think he saw the daily blowjob tunnel and he selfishly took it.
Well,
This-
he definitely deserves some blowjobs.
Someone needs to punch this guy in the face. Look, I feel like I also need to mention that I'm never going to Singapore, and it's not just because this asshole.
Yeah,
lives-
is that, you need to mention that.
yeah, I do. It's part of the story, and it's not just because this asshole lives here. It's because it's an insane country. Because anyone this is from fucking the news story. Anyone accessing the gateside areas of Shanghai without intending to fly can be persecuted or prosecuted under Singapore's Infrastructure Protection Act and fined up to $14,300
Pretty
US
easy
dollars.
to avoid, Pat.
Or imprisoned up to 2 years.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and 33 selfish assholes have been arrested under this legislation in 2019 alone.
I hope Donnie has to do this move now.
Oh my God, dude.
Prostitution is legal in Singapore, apparently.
I guarantee. Look, it's not going to happen to us because our ladies keep it under control. We know how to run a tight ship. But someone out there is going to be asked to walk his lady to the gate because of this piece of shit.
Okay.
I hope not. I mean, I hope you don't have to
stuff.
buy a ticket at least.
Yeah, forget about the fucking drive-by pickup.
Yeah.
Get in the car. The police are watching me.
The man's yelling at me. He's got a whistle.
Didn't you hear? The Singapore law spread to Austin, Texas.
All right. Next up, for some reason, 52-year-old Brazilian jiu-jitsu master and former MMA fighter Renzo Gracie is Brazil's ambassador of tourism.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he a good Gracie? Is he a decent Gracie?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
where does
That's a Mark question.
I think Renzo's like the patriarch. One of the, is he a
He's
good
high up
Gracie?
in the family
He's
for
a
sure.
Gracie.
They're all good Gracie.
That's all you need to know.
I think he's like a legend Gracie.
Okay, okay.
So anyways, on top of being the ambassador of tourism, Renzo is for some reason cutting MMA promos from inside crowded restaurants at lunchtime aimed at French President Emmanuel Macron.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the
I'm all in on this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a race war, boys.
This is amazing.
Mark loves this.
I love this.
Brazil v France, big time. So in the promo that Renzo cut, he said, quote, The only fire going on is the fire inside Brazilian hearts and our president's heart. You clown. Come over here. You will be caught by the neck. That chicken neck. You don't fool me, unquote.
Threatening Macron's neck.
Yeah, it just says he's going to choke him out, basically.
There's got to be
Tell me he knocks on his wife.
treaty that makes it illegal to threaten another leader of a country, but fuck yeah.
I don't know. I doubt
think
that.
so. Based off of Twitter and all of our last presidents, including our current and our previous president. No, there's no rule against that.
And there's no government organization in Brazil to look into it. So.
The video is in Portuguese, so I don't know everything he said exactly, but it was exactly a fight from him. He's like laughing at his own jokes, and then he ends with the fist to the camera. Like the fist.
Stay out of Brazil, Macron.
I'll show you, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
With your old ass wife.
Brazil beefing with Macron has got to be the top news story of 2019.
Well, like,
it's the funniest for
French,
sure.
Is there a good French fighter? Is there someone
No.
that can...
I don't know, George St. Pierre?
But he's Canadian.
But he's under the Gracies,
French
though.
Canadian.
Yeah.
French
No,
Canadian.
there's not like a true French fighter. No.
Yeah, we need to get a Frenchman and a Brazilian
They
in the
quit. They
octagon.
always quit in the first round.
Smoking cigarettes in the corner.
Yeah, and anyways, Renzo, he didn't stop there. In a different interview, he said, quote, "Of course a bunch of people will be surprised. They'll think I called him a chicken because I was questioning his manhood. But I've seen plenty of gay men who are more manly than this imbecile." So,
There it is.
So Renzo's just insulting and
There it
offending
is.
everybody.
Renzo's going off.
Yeah.
It eventually comes out all Brazilian people are homophobic.
Yeah, for no reason, he just had to go after the gays, too. He's mad at Macron, and then he tosses the gays under the bus.
We really only had one Brazilian friend in our life, but if that told us anything, yeah, that's the case, Wes.
Yeah. It might be a little bit of a stereotype, but I'm going to go with it.
A little bit of a blanket statement.
Run it down.
All right, thank you, Will. And now let's end things on another high note. An anonymous flyer denying that Bigfoot is behind a prolonged closure to the Creamery Bridge in Bradford, Vermont has stirred up the community. So the flyer was first spotted at the Bradford post office and then was circulated last week by Dartmouth College professor and hilarious troll Alexander Chi on Twitter.
Oh, that's our intern Cam's alma mater.
There you go.
There you go.
We have to get him in on this. So the top half of the flyer reads, "Attention!" all caps and 10 exclamation points. "We would like to put to rest any and all rumors regarding the Creamery Bridge, Bridge 22, that crosses the Waits River here in Bradford. The prolonged closure of the bridge is due primarily to deck replacement and not because of displacement of or intrusion on a Sasquatch or Bigfoot, either a single creature or several of them."
That's what really gets you, the several.
Yeah.
I also like that he...
That is a masterful move.
Yeah, he put Bigfoot in parentheticals. He lets you know that Sasquatch...
And not in all capitals. And
exactly.
Then if you think it's one Bigfoot, not a big deal, but
the
several
several
is terrifying.
Is the plural big feet or big foots?
I just watched Inception this week, and this guy fucked that town up.
Yeah, he incepted the shit out of it.
Local resident Claudia Johnson said she thinks there's a local Bigfoot because she's heard unexplained rustling behind her home. So now everyone in the town is just on the lookout for Bigfoot.
Hey, by the way, if Claudia Johnson is hot, feel free to go peep in her window. You're never gonna get busted.
I also feed the raccoons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
don't. Let's not tell people to
I'm just
become
saying,
peeping
if you're
toms.
into that,
Yeah.
a window opened.
If
for
you're
you.
really creepy and you want to hook up with Claudia Johnson, pretend like you're a Bigfoot
Yeah.
exterminator.
Hey, you know how you can be a peeping tom with impunity? Pretend you're a Bigfoot.
all types of different fans of Hard Thunder.
Pat's affected by the weekend. He's depressed. So the flyer worked, guys. Good news. State transportation officials say the bridge is scheduled to be fixed in October. So just another month of all September is just Bigfoot speculation.
Yeah,
They
just
migrate.
a month of them
But fucking-
having nightmares about multiple Bigfoots dismantling their homes.
Guarantee you, there's going to be a story about someone in a Bigfoot outfit getting shot.
Oh, how great would we should dress up like Bigfoot and,
No, we
and
shouldn't.
repair
We'll get shot.
repair the bridge though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fix it up.
put some Bachman Terminal overdrive.
And
Taking
that's-
care of business.
And that's going to do it for Hard Factor. Jesus, fuck, that was a tough one to get through. Thank you so much for listening, as always. Make sure to hug your loved ones today. Give your pets a special treat and belly rub. Shake it off, guys and gals. There are going to be brighter days. We have a huge live show, a beer power hour show coming tomorrow night. I'd call it a celebration of life even. Most importantly, try and have a great fucking day.